Russians have undergone a traumatic experience of changing the country. So all of a sudden, the whole Russian society ended up in a completely different country with a different economic and social system. For some of them, it was quite a traumatic experience of losing their identity, particularly the collapse of the Soviet Union, the empire, the huge country that everyone felt they belonged to, and now there isn't such a country anymore. Of course, that was difficult for many people in terms of understanding who they are now. Now Russia is really searching or using language and discourse to search their new identity, to articulate their new identity. The population of the Soviet Union was 1/6 of the world who spoke Russian, and it was always considered that Russian was an important language, one of the world languages. But in reality, it's only after the collapse of the Soviet Union that Russian really has become a global language. Now the population of Russian speakers who live outside the Russian Federation is higher than the population of the Russian Federation. This is a very new, very interesting situation in terms of sociolinguistic analysis. I think that in future we'll see more and more diversion of the types of the Russian language that is spoken in different countries. There are certain countries where Russian is considered to be a foreign language, although the population of Russian speakers is still quite high. For example, in Estonia, the Russian-speaking population is 30%. Nevertheless, Russian is considered to be a foreign language, which only can be taught at school. So we see linguistic discrimination in certain countries. In other countries of the post-Soviet space, like in Belarus and Kazakhstan, Russian is one of the state languages, official languages of the countries. There are negotiations now in Ukraine whether Russian will become an official language alongside with Ukrainian language. So the situation is very diverse. And I think that particularly in those countries where Russian is the state language or very widely spoken language, there will be a different version of the Russian language as the countries now are developing in different ways. And I would imagine that there will be as many Russian languages perhaps as there are many different English languages in the world. Russian at Edinburgh is the oldest Russian department in Scotland. It has been taught now 60 years, and it has a very good tradition, excellent library that has been accumulated over these years, and resources as well. The contacts between Edinburgh and Russia go back centuries. Of course, we have to remember Princess Dashkova, in honor of whom this Dashkova Center is called. Princess Dashkova lived in Edinburgh from 1776 to 1779. She became the honorary citizen of Edinburgh, and she was a friend with many key figures of Scottish Enlightenment. When she came back to Russia from Scotland, she became the head of the two academies, the Academy of Russian Sciences and the Academy of Russian Language. And I'm sure that she brought the ideas of Scottish Enlightenment into her work and to the position of the heads of the two academies and implemented them. The Dashkova Center is one of the key centers for study and research of the Russian language and Russian culture in Britain. It is a joint project between the Ruski Mir Foundation, the foundation that deals with promotion of the Russian language, culture and knowledge about Russia abroad, and the University of Edinburgh. Our core research activity is the research into the Russian languages, the promotion of the Russian language through creation of knowledge about the Russian language. Our key theme is the Russian language and society. We have a strong team of researchers. We have 9 PhD students who are doing various projects in the field of the Russian language and society, and several visitors from various universities across the world.
This production is copyright the University of Edinburgh.